I've got a portfolio for you that is designed to make you generational wealth, and I've created it unlike any others. This portfolio is as interactive as you'll probably find on YouTube because I'm giving you the power to choose which projects in which narratives you want to actually pick in terms of this portfolio. I'm not just going to give you 10 projects and say, here's your portfolio for 2025. I think everyone does those, and I also do those. So I've decided to mix things up, give you guys buy levels, and just make it a very comprehensive portfolio. So yeah, again, as always, guys, it's a very, very comprehensive map, and I think you'll find a lot of value from this because I go over things I haven't really touched on in previous portfolios before. Now, of course, you are going to see some projects I do talk about quite a lot. Now, the focus of this portfolio and why it's different to others on YouTube and why it's different to the ones I create as well is because we aren't just looking for good projects here. What we're actually focusing on first is the narratives themselves, so you can forget the projects first. We want to find the areas that will find the most explosion in 2025. And yes, this does vary, okay? A lot of the narratives I like to look for, layer ones, for example, they aren't particularly suited for this. Yes, they'll rank high in a second. I'm going to show you how high they do rank on my sort of subjective scale. But yes, we're looking at that first, then we're finding the projects, okay? So let me get a little bit more in depth here. So again, you guys can actually find this at the very, very top of the description. So instead of simply giving you X amount of altcoins, this is what you can do to mix and match yourself as well, okay? So I'll take your attention immediately to the legend, okay? So the narratives were chosen based on my previous video. These are subjectively better for 2025. So this is what I'm talking about. The previous video I made like a day ago, right? I kind of went into why it's important when we're looking at cryptocurrencies and which ones to buy. We look at the narratives first, before anything else, before any of the coins, whatever it might be, okay? And so this is my subjective overview and outtake on what I believe the best narratives are going to be for 2025. Now, you can almost imagine the environment in 2025 as almost the exact same as what we're in now. Nothing's really going to happen in 1.5 years that's going to like drastically make IoT suddenly a 10 out of 10, and a 10 obviously meaning that it's going to be in high demand, okay? So it's a fall because it's just not quite cutting it, in my opinion, okay? And we can move up this list, right? Everyone likes to hype up about decentralized social platforms or digital identities. Yes, they're definitely going to have their time in the sun eventually, but as for 2025, we've got to also look at the perspective that most of the demand is going to come from people, okay? And what are people going to want the most? Now, we will see trickles in that case of institutional demand and national demand, right? The big players. For the most part, we're going to see mainly people looking into these sort of sections, right? This almost infrastructure type feeling. And let me go through some of these, right? So layer 1, I've ranked a 9 out of 10. Layer 2 is a 9 out of 10. Interop is a 10 out of 10. Privacy is also a 10 out of 10. Oracle's 10, gaming 10, metaverse 9, storage 9. So I've circled these green because I wanted today to primarily focus on these ones, the 9 and the 10s, at least again, what I believe as the strongest narratives in 2025. Now, it's subjective. Everyone's going to come up with a different answer to this. Again, it's just what I strongly believe. Now, the premise of this portfolio is you, as the viewer, as the person who will open this up in just a minute and go through this yourself, can choose up to 2 altcoins in each and any narrative, right? But you must only choose a maximum of 10. We're going to extract this down to only 10 altcoins, okay? That's very important because the more you're exposed to, the more research you have to do on a daily basis. And of course, the more money you have to spend, therefore you spread your capital thin. Also, the higher the meme score, the better. In terms of 2025, we're looking for memes for 2025 here, and the higher the penetration score, the better, of course, for 2025 as well. So what I'm talking about with meme is, okay, we have these sort of narratives, right? We have layer ones, right? Hedera, for example, Versionia Protocol. They're all DLTs, or they have like a distributed ledger, right? Blockchains, hashgraph, DAGs. They're all super fast. They're all highly interoperable. They've all got, super fast finality. But what is that sort of wow factor that's different? That's the meme, right? What, like a meme coin, or a meme in general. What makes a meme is because it spreads very easily. And if you don't have a wow factor that makes it spreadable, then it's not a meme. So it's not going to really spread. And this is important for 2025 because most of the cryptocurrency market is, again, retail curiosity. People like you and I who focus their investments on memes. It's very important. Now, okay, I'll tell you right now, I've cherry-picked these projects in each of these narratives because they're some of the best projects in these narratives. Now, I've tried to be a little bit more diverse than what I typically am on this channel, just to give you guys some more options into what I believe is a good project or not. But hopefully, the picks shall suffice, okay? I definitely can break this down on a much larger scope if you really wanted to see like a whole heap more, like 20 in the layer 1 section and 10 other layer 2 solutions and 5 other interoperability solutions, right? Now, again, we're going to kind of combine the meme and the penetration. So we know what the meme is. The penetration is, how can the project, in this case, let's just talk about Hedera, right? How can Hedera, or how much penetration does it have in that market, right? So it's competing for a general purpose, a layer 1 blockchain, okay? So how much of that market can it overtake in 2025? And the reason I've got 10 out of 10 for Hedera, and obviously I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these, I'll be here for 3 hours, and specifically for 𝗡𝗍𝗆, is because of its hash graph. It's completely different. I always use the analogy on the channel now, seems to be common, which is, if you can imagine like a police station where you have your lineups, right? And you have 10 green people and you have 1 pink person. Who the hell is going to stick out like a sore thumb? The pink person. You're going to go, what are you doing here? And that's the hash graph. That's Hedera. That's the best analogy I can kind of use in that sense. So that's why it's a 10. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this for you guys. If you wanted to see the reasons why I've rated them lower or higher than what you might have, then, simply comment down below, or again, I can elaborate. Just let me know. I have 2 videos a day, guys. I need more video ideas. Let me know down below what you want to see. So again, the main score we have to look at here, really, to summarize it all, is the totals, okay? So it's obviously out of 20. And the ones I've highlighted red are the ones that are 20 out of 20, a clean sweep, okay? So that's like Hedera, Polygon. And again, this is important because we're not talking in the overall market, we're talking within this narrative. Because again, it's zooming out here for a second, guys. The narratives are important because when layer 2 season comes along, we're not looking at layer 1 protocols. So Hedera is 20 out of 20, don't matter no more. Or Polygon might be a 10 out of 20 if compared to 𝗡𝗍𝗆, but it's irrelevant because it's not a layer 1 narrative. We're talking about layer 2, so when this huge demand comes up for layer 2s, I believe Polygon's a 20 out of 20, meaning it's the best in that sort of narrative, okay? That's what I believe anyway. Everything's subjective in this damn space. So again, Polygon, 20 out of 20. Interoperability, of course, Quant's 20 out of 20 in this case, but Moonbeam, I mean, come on, guys. That's pretty close in my opinion, right? We move on. Chainlink in the Oracle section is a clean 20 out of 20. And the reason I've got API 3, I love API 3, at least I love it because it's the second best competitor to Chainlink in my opinion, at least right now. And you can see how low it ranks compared to Chainlink because Chainlink has a monopoly. Chainlink, when you talk oracles, it's Chainlink. Now, I do think API 3 has a long way to go, but let's not cherry pick API 3 here. We've got lots of projects on the board, right? And storage, 𝗡𝗏𝗏. Now, 𝗡𝗏𝗏 isn't actually released yet, so that's a little bit funny to say, but of course, Filecoin is a 19 out of 20, so it is what it is. I think when 𝗡𝗏𝗏 comes on board, guys, anyone can get into this project early on, and I'm hoping I do. You are going to be extremely happy. This project is going to destroy not just storage, but decentralized computation and everything in between, okay? So yeah, what I've essentially done here is given you guys the option, right? So again, these are the projects I believe in the most, and again, I've ranked them in terms of their meme and penetration. This took a long time, so I'd really appreciate if you guys have enjoyed this and appreciate what I do for you. To just like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. That would really mean a lot to me. But what we're going to do next is have a look at the buy levels, okay? We're not looking at the sell levels in this video. We're not looking at price predictions just yet. This isn't how to turn a 10 grand into $100 million. We're just looking at sort of the best projects, right, to make generational wealth. So I think buy levels are more important than sell levels because sell levels are things that require price predictions and these things tend to move. Buy levels are things that are quite static, at least at the moment. We're in the kind of a crux of a bear market. So these are pretty set in stone. I've definitely gone through and taken my time with these and given you, well looked at buy levels. So again, easy at the very top rung here. Easy is because it's at least hit it multiple times in the last 12 months. Again, we're looking at the bear market here the last 12 months. Medium is to say, look, it's hit this a few times. If you're kind of smart with it, you can definitely get that. And hard is either it hasn't actually hit that just yet, or it has, but very, very little, right? 1 or 2 times briefly, and it's obviously hard to acquire, but it's kind of giving you some buy levels to go, if Quant gets to $95, for example, which it's definitely blown past recently, that is a good buy. It's hard to do, okay? So you guys can, again, go ahead. I'm not going to go through every single one of these projects or sound like a bloody robot at the end of the video. And, just assess these for yourself. Which ones are you interested at the most, right? So again, when we're talking about cryptocurrency, what's the most important thing in not just crypto, but any sort of investment strategy is to be diverse, not to put all your eggs in one basket. This is something we hear all the time, and it's all like second nature at this stage when we're coming to investing, but I think it's really hard to actually enact on that. I think a lot of people just know about it, and I was one of them people too, right? But we really must diversify, okay? Not just, again, we're talking about crypto here, so that in of itself is quite undiversified. But when we do invest within a particular narrative or industry, we should really go and spread ourselves out a little bit here, okay? So what I've said is you can buy, if you're really interested, right? You can just get Hedera and NEO and add them down here, but you must pick 10. This is the challenge people must understand. The more narratives you're exposed to and the better projects in those narratives, like for example, if you're in storage, right? Let's ignore storage because, Nillion isn't out right yet. Let's just use Oracle as an example, right? And you've got Chainlink, API3, and all the other Oracles. Wouldn't it make sense if you're going to be exposed to a single Oracle project to just get Chainlink? Now, not financial advice, of course, API3 is a hell of a lot cheaper, and that's kind of an incentive for people to go, hey, okay, well, maybe I might buy API3 because I might get a simple 10, 20x just to match the current price of Chainlink. And to that I say yes, but remember, 2025, we are moving into a world where there might be some more regulation in place. This is gonna get scary, guys. So I don't just want anyone holding bags past 2025. None of us are perfect. A lot of us are gonna end up holding a lot of damn money past that point in time. And so I don't want you holding API3 in 2027 when API3 might not be around in 2028. Right, and we can probably guess that Chainlink will be. So we're in a bear market. I think we need to take advantage of some of the larger projects because they're on a lot of big discounts right now, to say the least. And I know I haven't really actually covered any of the projects on this list just yet. I get it, right? So you can see this for yourself. So I don't really think there's a need for me to go through these individually, and a lot of them are projects I do talk about quite a lot. Again, Hedera. Hedera is a fantastic project in of itself. So a lot of future potential, and that's why it makes it to the layer 1 list. I've also got NEO Protocol. These guys are changing to what's called a blockchain operating system. They essentially want to become like that first layer that a typical Web 2 user like your grandparents would enter in at to access the entire ecosystem. Polygon, these guys are again upgrading to Polygon 2.0, kind of like what NEO is doing. Polygon's going to go even a step layer and become like the value layer of the entire internet, right? So obviously the internet democratized information, accessibility to information, or Polygon's going to, democratize value basically, right? We have Arbitrum there, a little bit less powerful in my opinion, simply because Arbitrum isn't as grand as Polygon or established. They're still doing some amazing things, by the way. That's what I've made it to the list to begin with. We have interoperability, of course. So Moonbeam is focused within Web 3, therefore only so powerful. Quant is focused Web 2, Web 3, everything. And therefore it's easily a smack bang 20 out of 20 when we're talking about the totals here. Privacy, so Mina Protocol. Mina is at like the pinnacle of zero-knowledge proof technology because it's literally using ZKPs to create the blockchain essentially through recursive snarks. And there's a lot to happen on the negative, but I do believe it's very powerful coming into the next bull market because there's so many good upgrades coming out. It's very memeable, and therefore I've given it obviously an 18 out of 20, right? And Oasis is again sort of on the same playing field, but Oasis network is more enterprise focused. These guys are massive in the Asian market, so they're going to do really great, but they might take a longer to establish. So in terms of 2020 potential, maybe not as powerful as a sort of retail curious project like Mina. Over here, Oracles, I don't think I have to say much more about Oracles in this case. You guys know Chainlink is upgrading even with their 𝗡cie_𝗿𝗡 protocol upgrade, which is going to pretty much allow any dApp on any network to connect to one another just directly through Chainlink, right? Instead of going through bridges that might be, pretty crappy, to say the least. So they're going to all go through Chainlink now, which is going to be fantastic. We have gaming, Gala Games. Do you know, say more about Gala? These guys are fantastic. I really want to see more games coming out with these guys in terms of GameFi. That's the really big unlock here. And of course, the Mutable X being a layer 2 solution on Ethereum is fantastic and suited towards gaming, right? I think they have a lot of potential as well. Metaverse, Multiverse X rather. Multiverse X has great potential. Again, I think the name change from Elrond to Multiverse X really hit them hard here, but they are kind of focusing themselves in this gaming metaverse new world. So there is a lot of potential for it, but since it's a layer 1 network, since it really has to, have a great ecosystem, and again, it's kind of focusing on sovereign shards here, I think it might take a bit longer than 2025 to establish a full narrative and product market fit. The sandbox, again, it's a little bit sort of different to that. I think the sandbox is going to really take off in 2025, kind of like it did a bit in 2021/2022. Now, Filecoin, of course, I think Filecoin is a prime 19 out of 20 here in totals because, again, it's like the most known about, used sort of online digital decentralized storage platform right now in crypto. I think when Nillion comes on and it's true, tried and tested, Nillion will take the reins, no doubt. And of course, Filecoin isn't as powerful simply because other networks right now that are really looking for sustainability, they are kind of focusing on creating their own storage within their own networks. But I think, having the ability to offset onto Filecoin like you can with Hedera is definitely a benefit as well. So yeah, you know, I plan to come out with a sheet like this with not just this sort of layout, but not just 2 projects per category. I want to kind of give you my 100% best projects in each of these. So there might be 3 or 4 or 5 in layer 1. There might be like 6 in layer 2. There might be 4 in Oracle, for example. And then not just give you buy levels, again, that's the most important thing here, but also sell levels, okay? Because sell levels require price predictions, and price predictions are they're not static, right? They're not just gonna stick and stay. You know, buy levels can kind of do that in a way. So I definitely wanna make sure that the price levels I give on the sell orders, with at least the minimum and maximum ranges here, are very realistic and something that anyone can watch over the next 1.5 years, all right? So that'll take some time, guys. If you wanna see that, please, I only know if you let me know down below. And again, just make sure you like the video for all the hard work and use the sheet. It's free. All right, guys, take good care of yourselves. Talk to you soon. Bye.